Hey, Jane. You go ahead and leave that job and come here. I'm gonna have you start taking care of my dad tomorrow.
Huh? What do you mean you want me to leave my job, though? And you want me to come take care of your dad?
Well, I just got a call from my dad a little bit ago. He had a bad call and broke one of his hands.
He broke a hand? That's terrible to hear.
He was trying to get something off the top of one of his shelves, and in doing so, stood on a weak chair. When it broke, he came crashing down on his hands. And you know, my dad is getting up there in age now, right? It ended up breaking one hand and really screwing up the other. So living on his own is going to be impossible for him. So I'm going to have you quit your job and start working full-time as my dad's caregiver.
I'm really worried about your dad and all, but asking me to do that right now is a bit too sudden. First of all, I don't want to quit the job I have right now.
Huh? All you're doing is working a simple job for the city, right? And you're a woman in an office filled with men, so there's no way you'd be able to get any further promotions there. So hurry up and leave that place and come to my dad's side.
What?
Well, your husband's dad is in trouble right now. This is your job as the wife, right? And you already know that my dad has work to do, still with his company that he's been running. So he needs a woman like you to go care for his needs so that he can get right back to focusing on keeping his company on the rails.
You didn't marry me to be the one to care for your dad when he needs someone to support him. If you're that worried about him needing help, then why don't you go and help your dad out? And you saying that I'm just some city worker doesn't make my job any less important than yours. All you do is work for an office for some large company. And you actually get more time off than I do at your job, so during family emergencies like these, you should be able to take a month of PTO, right?
I do have a lot of PTO saved up, but I've never seen anyone use all their time up like that. And if I did take that much time off, can you imagine the impact that would have on me getting a promotion? I'm tired of arguing about this, so just leave the job of yours and come care for my dad.
Then how about until his hands are usable again, we hire someone to come and care for his needs? He could even do that himself since he has all that money from being a CEO. He has to have the ability to find someone to care for him, right?
You're my wife, and having you care for him is free to all of us. There's no reason to hire anyone to care for him when you're right here, all right? This is a strict order from your husband, so you listen to me. Stop trying to talk your way around it and hurry things up with quitting your job and coming here.
That's...
I already told my dad that you'd be coming soon to start caring for him, so the plan's already been set in motion. So I'll leave everything up to you now.
It's been a while, Jane. I'm sure you've heard by now from Phil about my injury.
I did hear about it from him, but are you really doing okay now? You didn't get any other injuries from a fall like that?
I was pretty lucky with that fall and only ended up with one broken hand and the other one being sprained. I didn't happen to hit my head on anything, and everything besides my hands are alright. Thank goodness my son bought me that smartphone last year for something like this. I'm still able to use it a little bit in my left hand, even with the sprain.
Well, that's great to hear.
Now, another thing I heard from Phil was that you're going to be quitting your job to come here? That will be a major help for me. But I'm really sorry that you have to do that. Are you really okay with leaving that job of yours to be around me all the time?
Whether I'm okay with it or not, this was an order from my husband, and he told me that times like these are why he married me in the first place, so...
What do you mean this is an order by your husband? He told me that you chose to leave your job after hearing about me being injured in that fall.
That's not at all what happened, Fred. Just a few hours ago, he came out of nowhere telling me to quit my job without really giving me any more context. Then after that, he told me that you're in trouble and that I need to be a good wife and take care of you while your hands are hurt. And when I told him that I didn't really want to leave my job, he started to get upset with me.
That's not at all the story I heard from Phil. I'm so sorry, Jane. I may have very little use of my hands right now, but I'll find some way to manage on my own. I don't want to be the one to force anyone to do things that they don't want to do, so please relax.
So you're saying it's okay if I don't quit my job?
Of course I am. It seems that Phil is just trying to use what happened to me for his advantage. I'm really sorry about all that.
Actually, I just told my boss that I'd be leaving my position and everything.
What? So you already let them know that you're leaving that job?
I just assumed that what my husband wanted from me was what I had to do. And when it comes to him, if I ever reject something he asks of me, he gets all worked up and becomes a real pain in the butt. The last time I went against something he asked, it was like a war broke out inside our house. So I just thought I had no other choice this time and would actually have to leave my job for good.
Phil really acts that way with you?
But you don't have to worry about me right now. I'll be around your place tomorrow at the soonest to start helping you. So if you need me to pick anything up for you on the way over, just let me know and I'll grab it all for you.
You being here for me will really be a big help. But I hate that this had to happen to you. Right. Since you're going to be looking after me for a while, I'd like to pay you in return. I'll make it seem as though you're my housemaid, and that way you can still earn money for the work you'll do. How does that sound to you? I'll even make sure that you're paid handsomely for your work.
That really puts a smile on my face. But if I earned any money helping you around, Phil would be pissed off before either of us knew it. Honestly, you just offering that is already more than enough.
Do you really think that Phil would get upset with you? Well, if that's what you're worried about, I'll make sure to pay you in secret, and you can keep it to yourself. I'll hand you cash every month, and so that he'll never be able to find out about us. So please allow me to pay you from now on.
Are you really okay with that?
I wouldn't want you helping me without anything in return. You've already had to quit the job that made you happy for me. And now you have to look after all my needs for a few months, I'm sure. It's only right that I give you money for the work you'll be putting in.
Thank you so much, Fred. Well, I look forward to coming over to your house starting tomorrow.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you again after such a long time. I know that it's not the most amazing thing having to look after an old geezer like me, but I'm glad it's going to be you and not someone else.
Phil, where are you right now? Your dad has fallen down again and you should have gotten a call from the hospital already, right? Right now he's going to be getting some treatment, but I can't be here all by myself and need you here with me.
That sounds like a lot of trouble for me, so you go ahead and deal with him on your own there. Tell the doctor that I've got work to do that's too important for me to be stepping away from at the moment.
What? Your dad's had a bad fall and you're not even going to come and see him? And what do you mean by you have to work right now? Today is Sunday and you always have work off on Sundays. All you're doing is hanging out at home, so what the hell are you talking about?
Shut up, Jane. If Sundays are meant to be sitting around at home all day, then why did my dad get hurt again? Unlike you all, I don't have time to listen to medical talk all day. I have very important things regarding the aftermath of this to be thinking about right now and don't need to be dealing with you two.
What kind of important aftermath things are you talking about? Don't tell me you think your dad is going to die now. He may have had a bad fall, but it shouldn't be anything life-threatening.
But I heard that call from the hospital and they told me he was out for over an hour, right? He already had one fall last year that broke some of his bones, so I think his life is coming to an end now. So before that happens, I want to be early with having my plans ready to go.
What you're talking about right now is crazy. He's not even close to being dead yet.
Whatever, just take care of him for me. And if he happens to be on his deathbed, give me a call right away.
Hey, Phil, what the hell is with these divorce papers? I had only just gotten back from the hospital after your dad's health started looking better. Why are there divorce papers in the living room that have all been filled out?
Crap, just when I thought that he'd be done for. I never expected him to make it back from that fall this time. I had hoped that after he died here, I'd be the one to get his company and everything else he has.
Huh?
Well, even if he's not dead yet, I'm sure that this means that he'll have to step down as a CEO. And so if that's the case, that means the next in line for that position would be me, his son. So because of that, you and I are getting a divorce.
I have no idea what's going on right now. Why are you starting to talk about divorce out of nowhere like that?
Because I have a woman already prepared for me when I become CEO.
What? Who the hell is this woman you plan on being with once you're a CEO? I don't want to think that this could be true, but have you been cheating on me?
And what's so bad about me cheating on you? You are the one that quit your job, and you've barely been around our house. And since you're not around the house much, you barely get any chores done. So I have to throw you away.
The reason I had to quit my job is because of you, Phil. You told me to quit my job and go be by your dad's side to take care of him. That's why every single day I've been away from the house so that I could be with your dad and make sure he had everything he needed. So stop with that crap of saying it's my fault that nothing gets done in our house and using that as an excuse to fool around with another woman.
Well, who knows the real reason why you'd always be going over to my dad's house and never stayed with me. Perhaps you weren't even going over there at all, and were out with other men besides me. Even after my dad's hands healed, you still said you needed to be at his house to care for him. That's what started to make it seem as though you couldn't be trusted.
Excuse me?
And so in your place, I found myself another woman to fill in the empty space that you left me with. She's been around for me to make sure I'm happy while having to stay busy with all my hard work. It's because of how kind she is to me that I'll be making her my next wife. She'll become the young wife of the new CEO. So as for you, there's no use anymore in my life.
You're a freaking monster, Phil. Well, whatever now. If that's how you want things, then let's get this divorce. But you're going to be paying me a settlement. I'll make sure that not only you will be paying me, but that other chick of yours that you've been cheating on me with as well.
Hey. Don't try and bully me like that, Jane. And please, don't touch her. She's still only a college student after all. Making a young student like her have to pay you a large amount of money is the worst thing a man could ever do to someone else.
You've got to be kidding me. The girl you've cheated on me with is a frickin' college student? What do you think you're doing getting involved with someone that young?
Well, she was the one that came to me first. Well, she started working a part-time job with the company I'm in, so... when one day she just happened to look at me differently, and things took off from there. And I'm sure that when she heard what I'd be CEO really soon, that's what really made her fall into my arms.
Huh?
And so since this wasn't anyone's fault besides your own, don't bother with trying to get any money from us. If you had never been away from this house all the time, maybe this would have never happened to you. But now I'll at least be kind enough to give you the house. And that should be enough to get you to stop trying to make us pay, right?
Huh? You're going to give me the house?
I'll give you the house as part of us having to split properties, as well as a little extra money for all the troubles you've caused. That should be enough to make you happy without complaints, right? I've been busy getting all this ready for you anyway since yesterday.
Even after your dad had a bad fall, you still never came to see him in the hospital. I had no idea what had gotten into you, but it seems this whole time you've been thinking of a divorce, huh?
Well, everything I've done shouldn't come as a surprise to you. I'll give you the house and everything now, so allow things between us to be over.
I'm fine with that, but I won't be giving it back.
I don't care. I'm going to become CEO soon. My dad's going to step down from his position, and then I'll be taking it and the house he lives in. I'll be able to give my new girlfriend the gift of being my wife, and we can have an amazing life together.
Then I'll make sure to have that divorce paperwork turned in soon for you. Even though there isn't any company around anymore, I'm happy to see you giving me the house and all that.
Huh? What do you mean the company's not around anymore? Hey, what do you mean by all of that?
The company that your dad had is no longer around anymore. Just before your dad had fallen that second time, he made sure to have the company and everything that went with it sold to another, larger company.
What did you just say?
That's why I was a bit confused by you saying that you'd be the next CEO and that the girl would be the next wife to the CEO. Maybe hearing that your dad had fallen again broke your brain in some way.
Hey, Jane, explain all of this to me right now. Since when did my dad end up selling his company? Why wouldn't he have just given to me instead? And why did my dad never tell me he was going to do any of that?
This is all because of that strict order you gave me back then to leave my job and take care of your dad full time. I was able to hear him talking about it for a long time now, about how he planned on getting rid of his company. And not only that, but I was around to help him out with all of that as well.
What? Is that so?
Even after he had already healed from his first fall, the reason I was going over every day was to help him handle that. He had asked for my help, and so I was there for him to support his busy work that he had to do to find a company to take his off his hands for a good price. Yet for whatever reason, you decided to call my time out of the house helping him, me cheating on you with other men. And that was your reason for cheating on me with a college student? You really are the worst kind of monster imaginable.
Wait, that cannot be real. Why would my dad ever get rid of that company? He had me here all this time to take over the company for him, and that's why I've been working so hard. I even expected to be the CEO for the longest time now, so I've been studying day and night to know exactly how to run it right.
Well, maybe you should have been studying more about your dad's company instead of other things. For a long time now, your dad's company has been slowly bleeding money.
Are you serious?
And even though I say that, us selling it wasn't your dad's first choice. But after that fall last year that left him in pretty rough shape, he realized he shouldn't be working anymore. He told me that he's not a young man anymore and should really use the time he had left to sell the company and then enjoy himself. And so instead of giving you the company, he wanted to pocket the money he received for the company and be done with it.
If he was going to be doing something as huge as that, he would have asked me first. Why would he do all of that without my opinion?
We had tried plenty of times to get your input back then, but every time we asked you to come to your dad's house to talk, you told us you didn't have time to.
What?
And when your dad would call you asking to talk, you would reply saying that I'll take care of everything for you. And then succeed that by saying you were too busy with work to listen to him. And so, because of the distance you gave your dad, he gave up on you. And there's your reason for him never having the chance to talk to you about selling his company.
Ah! So that's what he wanted back then when he kept being rude and calling me all the time.
And only a month after that, the company your dad had was done with, and he had sold it. Him falling was around the same time the larger company came and paid him for it.
What should I do? I had finally thought I had that company myself. Yet things are not at all going to plan for me. To make sure that I'd been able to get the company soon, that I even forged my dad's handwriting and handed a form saying that he'd be stepping down.
What?
Yesterday, I had gotten a call from the hospital saying Dad had fallen and was badly hurt. And so immediately after that call, I'd forged a document saying that he'd stepped down from being CEO. And then I called my girlfriend and told her all the good news about how we won and we'd have a wonderful life. I even went out and got that divorce paperwork and filled it all out for us. And yet after all that hard work I put in preparing for my new future, my dad ended up selling the company.
What the hell were you doing forging your dad's name and using it to take over his company when he was in the hospital?
Now wait. You did say that my dad pocketed all the money for his company, right? I don't think he'll be needing all that money he received, unless he spends it all on his medical bills and stuff for that bad fall. Then there won't be anything left to his name, right? You didn't help my dad all that time for nothing either, right? Maybe you have been eyeing his money as well. He still has the house and other things, possibly, correct?
You do seem to be thinking a lot about this. He still does have some things left over, like the house and the car.
Thank God. At least having some of that left is totally fine with me. Having his car and a house left over is still more than enough to make a little money. At least this time, I don't have to worry about a company now, and we'll still be getting a ton of money through all that stuff.
Huh? Why are you thinking all of that can be your stuff?
He has broken bones and has been stuck in the hospital for a bit. And of course, he's not a young man anymore. I'm sure it won't be long before he dies, and that I'll be left with all of his things. Even any money that he may have left over after the medical bills. So in other words, all of that is my stuff now.
No, that will all be going to Jane in the end. I won't be leaving a single thing behind for you on my will, you stupid boy.
Huh?
I never once thought that my own flesh and blood could turn out to be some kind of rotten soul. I'm so glad that I handled all of this earlier and had everything written to go to Jane.
Wait a second. Is this you, Dad? Really you?
Yes, this is your very embarrassed father talking to you. When Jane told me that she'd be going home for a bit to grab some things, I never thought that she'd return to tell me that you have filled out divorce paperwork for the two of you. Right now, I have no idea what to think of you, Phil.
All of that doesn't really matter anymore. I want to know why you've been leaving everything to her instead of the man that you've built a lot of blood and sweat into. Why are you giving her the house and your car and everything else you own?
Well, this is my thanks to her for taking great care of me. Instead of my own son coming to care for me, she was forced into a position where she had to quit the job she loved and take care of an old guy like me. And not just that, but was also there to help me with the company. So I'm very thankful for her. So what's so wrong about me giving her everything after everything she's given me?
No, that's all a bit too messed up. You shouldn't have to thank her for doing her job as my wife. And even if you do want to thank her, you're being way too damn generous to her.
I don't want to hear your opinion on anything I've done. You've never come to care for me, and you never took your wife's life into consideration. And the worst thing of all is that you've been cheating on her with some young woman that's still in college.
Dad, can you just calm down a little? I know what's going on here. What's really happened is that Jane has been threatening you and forced you to give her all your things, right?
What did you just say to me, Phil?
She threatened you by saying that if you didn't give her everything in your will, that she'd stop caring for you, right? You couldn't use your hands back then, and there was nothing else you could do but give in to her threats, right? And ever since then, you've been too weak to run from her, and that's why she's been able to take advantage of you, right?
Because you happen to think things that way, I'm through with ever dealing with you again. I'm thinking this is it, boy. You no longer have to worry about anything that has to do with me. I don't need you around to care for me now, so never ever show your face around me again.
Wait, Dad!
You can't even care for your own wife, and you can't even take care of your own dad. I can no longer stress myself thinking of you as something like my family. If anything, I'm a pretty bad dad for not leaving my company to you. So for both our sakes, today's the last day we'll be called father and son.
But wait, Dad!
Do not come to the hospital to see me. Actually, I'll make sure they won't let you in if you do come. At this point, if I see your face, I'm gonna want to strangle you. And the doctor told me not to get my blood pressure up. So now, Phil, goodbye.
Jane, how's about you and I act as though we never needed to get divorced? I've been broken up with that other woman now. Well, I wouldn't say I broke up with her. The moment she heard I wouldn't be CEO anymore, she bolted and I couldn't even get a reply from her again.
Well, why would anyone want to marry a penniless man after they've been caught lying? And I'll have to say no to your request. I don't ever want to get back together with you now that you've gone and cheated on me.
What?
And even if I did, I've already handed in the divorce forms.
Well, if you leave me, then what will my dad and I do? I know that my dad said that he cut ties with me and all, but he's going to need someone to care for him, and I'll be his only option. But I have to still work my job, so I can't be at home to watch him. Please, Jane, you're too nice to just throw my dad away like that, aren't you?
Yeah, he's done a lot for me to get where I am. And so that's why I'll be looking after your dad still. And I have to say thanks to you since you gave me the house and everything in the divorce. So I think we'll sell his house and live in our house together.
What? You and my dad will?
I may have been caring for him for a year now, but it was never that difficult for someone like me. Unlike you, your dad's a real gentleman and will always say thank you for all the chores and cooking I do for him. He'll even tell me that my cooking is delicious when he eats it. So because of his kindness, I promise that I'll care for all his needs until the very end.
What? You're going to be divorcing me and you'll still live with my dad? There's no way things like that actually happen.
Of course, from the outside, people would think that's pretty strange. But to me, your dad is like my second father, so I could never leave him behind. And when you consider that I'll just be his housemate or something like that, there's nothing at all that's weird about us living together. He told me that he's still going to be paying me after all, even when you and I are divorced.
Huh?
He told me that his house and care wouldn't even be a part of how he pays me. Although even by just receiving them from him, I'd be fine with caring for every need he has. I'm going to really do my best to make sure this last stretch of his life is the best he's ever lived.
Would it be wrong if I came to live with you both too? I promise that I'll never cheat on you again, okay?
You already know the answer to that one. You are not the kind of person we could trust living under the same roof as us. So with that, have a great one, Phil. You should be happy that both the woman that was getting in your way and caring for your dad will no longer be a problem for you. Now, enjoy life all by your lonesome and live it any way you'd like. After that, Fred was able to make a pretty full recovery from his injuries, and he was released from the hospital to come and live with me. I'm not sure if it was because he no longer had the stress of his company on him, but after coming back home, he didn't even seem like he needed my care. He was able to go out and about on his own and enjoy whatever hobbies he had, all without my help. And because of his great health, I was also able to make up some good hobbies, and Fred and I lived a great life together. But then there's Phil. After trying to get back into the job he'd had for the longest time, he was told he would be let go as they found out about how he was trying to go into his dad's company. Of course, that would no longer be happening. However, the company that did buy his dad's company did allow him to join, although the new job would only pay him half that of what his past job paid. And while there, he tried hard to get with some of the female employees, but they all told him to get away and that he was too old to be hitting on young women. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching all the way until the end. If you felt good after watching this video, please like the video. If not, please leave a comment and give us your feedback. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Your comments and likes help this channel grow. We hope you enjoy our other stories as well.
What the heck is going on here, Brandy? I cannot believe that I've just found out that you're the one that's been going out with my husband behind my back. You really did a great job hiding that important bit of information from me. Why are you talking about me like that out of nowhere? Do you really think that one of your good old friends would be stupid enough to go out with your husband? Especially when I've been a great friend to you, actually. So could you please stop acting like I'd ever do something as ridiculous as that? Could you stop trying to hide what you've been doing from me? I finally had enough of my husband always dodging me and asked for someone to follow him and find out more from me about what he's been up to. And guess what? That guy I asked to follow him around noticed that you've been the one that Frank's been cheating on me with. Huh? You asked someone to stalk him? You actually went ahead and did something crazy like that? Well, you were the one that suggested I do something like that, right? You said to my face that if I really wanted to learn about what my husband's been up to have some pro follow him around and find out for me. And that's why I paid $500 to have a guy go out and get me the information I needed. Man, I can't believe that. I thought because of how much of a pussy you are, you'd never have the nerve to do that to him. Well, I've been proven wrong today. If that pro you got to stalk him found that much evidence, then there really is no use in playing dumb anymore, is there? Well, you're right. I've been the one going out with your husband behind your back. You are the worst, Brandy. How could you do this to me after all those times I came to you about how I thought he was cheating on me? You even told me to find a pro to go out and follow him. Tell me, Brandy. What were you feeling when I came to get advice from you on what I should do about Frank? I bet while you put on a face to show how much you were worried about me, you were laughing your butt off inside. That's right. I had to hold back so much laughter to make sure I didn't spill the truth. And man, did I do a great job. I was able to fool you long enough to get you to actually go out and hire someone to get evidence for you. And now, because of that, you've finally come to realize it's been me all along and you've wasted so much time and money. Remember how much I had tried to get evidence of Frank cheating on me? But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get anywhere. But you were there telling me to not give up. Why did you have to be the one going out with my husband this whole dang time? Because you're a disgusting piece of crap, Miriam. And that's why I went ahead and stole your husband from you. Wait, I'm the piece of crap? You and I are like two peas in a pod, yet you thought it was okay to get married before me? I was not going to just sit around letting you get away with that. Ever since you got married, my parents have been on me saying that I need to get married soon as well, and it's been so annoying. And then, right before they end their little pep talks with me, they tell me to take some inspiration from you in finding a husband. And to be honest, I have been wanting to get married for a long time now, but I haven't been able to find the right man. And I don't want some loser to become my husband. I have to have the perfect man, and I've been waiting forever for him to come. What? What the heck, Brandy? That makes no sense to me. Why would that be your reason for taking my husband from me? Shut up, Miriam. It's your fault for thinking that you could live a happy life being married to Frank before me. Frank is such a great employee and makes enough to allow you to be happy every single day. Huh? Well, I've been wanting a man with decent money myself. Yet while I've been waiting to come across that man, you brought your money-making man around, showing him off to me. Why did you get to end up marrying the perfect man for me? You really think I'd allow you to do that to me? That's why you're a disgusting piece of crap and why I stole him from you. So that's your reason for stealing your longtime good friend's husband? Are you actually this happy to watch me suffer like this? I'm sorry, but that happiness won't last long for you if that's what you sought by doing this. Huh? I'm sorry, but I'm going to be happy with what I've done to you for a very long time. But to be honest with you, now that you know I've been the one going out with him behind your back, the thrill of it has ended. However, now he and I are going to get married soon, so you hurry up and divorce him for me. Excuse me? So you really are just going to straight up steal him from me? Did you really think I'd go through all the work of getting him to fall for me just to let you have him back after finding out about what he was doing? I really do want to steal him from you, and there's nothing you can do to stop me now. Maybe if you'd been a bit closer with your husband, he would have never fallen for me. But you chose to never hang out with him enough and show him the love he deserves, and that's why he's mine now. You have proof, after all, that he and I are deeply in love, so you shouldn't even have to question anything anymore. I'm going to marry Frank, so step aside. I guess you're right. I do have a boatload of photos now showing you going out with my husband and the two of you being so close. And he's smiling with you way more than anything I've ever seen from him. Frank is actually a really loving man. When he first started to fall for me, he immediately told me that he wanted to get married. And to get me to agree with him, he's bought me all sorts of gifts. And he's even told me that the moment we get married, we're moving into a penthouse downtown. Huh? He has promised me all of that and so much more. He's even told me that he wants to make sure that I live a totally free life. And that's why he's going to let me be his housewife in that new penthouse. Also, he's promised that by the time we've moved into that place, he'll be a CEO and we'll have all kinds of money at our disposal. Is that so? Well, good for you. Why are you acting all okay about this now? You shouldn't be telling me that this will be good for me. You should be crying and begging me to give Frank back to you. You just lost the love of your life to your best friend, and you're going to try and hide behind a strong mask. Give me a break, Miriam. You just lost a wealthy man to your longtime friend. I'm not trying to fake being strong about this right now. I'm just telling you how I feel about the situation. After all, you have always been the one with a better sense of style than me. So I feel that you'll be a much better wife to him when he becomes a CEO than I will. Oh, stop that. I can't believe you understand this so well. Of course, I will look a lot better in the arms of a wealthy man like Frank. That's right. You'll look perfect next to him. And that's why I've already come to terms with you stealing him from me and kind of think of it as a great thing for everyone involved. And to be frank, me being with him is way too abnormal and shouldn't have even happened in the first place. Right? Compared to a level-headed woman like you being with him, a sexy-looking young gal like me is a much better match. Now I'm looking forward to hearing about your guys' divorce. You really helped me out a lot by bringing a good-looking and wealthy man like Frank to me. Just a second ago, I got the divorce papers for us. And I've already filled it out and signed my name on it. So please make sure to sign it when you get home. Then I'll be able to hand it in right away, and you and Brandy can continue your guys' dream of getting married.
What? Why do you know about how I've been hanging around Brandy this whole time?
For a long time now, I've been aware of you going out with another woman and never telling me anything about it. So I got some advice from a friend and went and hired a pro to follow you around and gather some evidence. And the evidence I got from that pro was shocking, to say the least. But that's why I'm willing to divorce you now, Frank.
You hired a pro?
This should all be amazing news for you, right? From what she was telling me, she made it look as though you wanted to get married to her as soon as possible. So having the only thing stopping you from that say she's going to disappear should make you happy, right?
Well, you have a good point. I am a bit surprised, though, that you figured all of that out so quickly. But the fact that you're even willing to leave me now without fighting back is perfect.
I will ask you this one thing, though. Why did you end up cheating on me? And furthermore, why did you cheat on me with one of my best friends?
You already know the answer to all of that. It's because her and I were meant to be together, and there's nothing that can get in the way of our happiness together.
Huh? Can you say that to me one more time?
The person that I should be married to isn't you. The person that's fated to be my wife is Brandy. So you can't really call what's been going on between the two of us cheating. I've just been going out with my destined wife, and that's totally okay.
So that's how much you're in love with that girl. Have you told her yet that the company you're slated to run is starting to collapse? Well, I guess it all makes sense now that you have all that time on your hands to be going out with another woman. You haven't even been bothering to save the company, instead thinking that it'll just save itself while you go out with your destined lover.
Well, I'll have you know that ever since I started going out with Brandy, my company has gotten back up.
What?
This year, there have been a lot of rival companies doing a lot better than this one, and it was expected that this company would fall. However, we began to sell a lot of assets to make up for whatever losses there have been. But as we were thinking that selling assets wouldn't even bring in enough money to make up for the losses, I ran into Brandy. We both decided to go out to dinner together, even though I was exhausted. And what do you know? The day after that first date, my company received a new contract.
Really? You think that it's because of her your company's on the way back to the top after being in such a terribly low position?
This isn't just some coincidence, you know. Every time since then that we've gone on dates with one another, my company's image has gone up and there have been more profits. There is still a little ways to go before the company really begins to rake in the money, but I know for a fact that we've avoided going bankrupt. To me, Brandy is no different than a miracle to me, and I will not let go of her.
So this is your reason for throwing me away and going after her? Even though this whole time I've been the one standing by your side supporting you? Even when I've been with you while the company has been going under, cheering you on?
I don't need you around anymore. It's as simple as that. The only woman I need now is Brandy, and no one else. I'm still shocked myself that she's given me so much more than you, and we're not even married yet. That's the power of being with the woman you're destined to be with. I can tell right now that the moment we marry, things will only become even better for me, and I'll be the happiest man in the world.
You may be right about that. After all, you both look as though you'd go perfectly together after getting married. All I am now to the both of you is a wall in the way of your bright future together.
Oh? What's happened to you all of a sudden? You're acting like you're totally fine with the fact that I'm leaving you now.
Well, you said it yourself, right? The moment you and her started going out with one another, your company was able to make an amazing comeback, right? And since that's been able to go on for a bit now, there's no way it's just a coincidence. Also, you are so invested in marrying her that there's nothing left for me to do to change your mind. Really, I'm starting to think that she really is meant for you too. So I have nothing left to do now besides letting her have you.
Well, it's really helping me out a lot that you've already come to understand this. To tell you the truth, she isn't even the first woman that I've messed around with while being married to you. So, just to be a kind man, I'll pay you whatever you ask for me to make up for the pain I've caused.
Thank you, Frank. That money will really help me out a lot. Now, I'd really like to get that divorce paperwork handed in, so get to it and sign what needs to be signed. I'll be wishing for the both of you to have a happy and healthy marriage to one another after this. I just happened to get married to Frank yesterday. We both went to the city office yesterday and filed our marriage papers. Congratulations, Brandy. You are finally with the man you were destined for. So, can we finally agree that I've come out on top of everyone? The next thing I get to look forward to is moving into that penthouse with Frank soon. To tell you the truth, right after we handed in our papers yesterday and became married, we went right to the penthouse and walked through it. And we decided that the place was perfect for us and immediately agreed that we'd like to rent it. What? You've already found yourselves a penthouse you plan to move into? It's around $10,000 a month to rent the place and was just remodeled with all the newest appliances. But because of that high price, it'll take a few days for the realtor to check over Frank's income to make sure he can afford the place. But he is Frank, after all, so there's no doubt we're getting that penthouse. So today we're going to head to some of the finest furniture stores in the state to start buying only the best luxury furniture and electronics. And Frank's even told me that I can pick anything I want, no questions asked. It must be so exciting to be you right now. I think right now you're the most excited woman on this planet. Of course I am. I was able to find myself the perfect man to make my husband, and we just got married. He is such a gentleman, and he's the new CEO of that company, so there was no hesitation. Being able to marry the perfect man has made me really think that I can get away with pretty much anything now. I'm so happy that I'll buy literally everything in those furniture stores today. Thank you so much, Miriam. You were very kind in allowing me to have your husband without there being any kind of retaliation. No, thank you, Brandy. You were able to get that CEO of a collapsing company out of my sight. Huh? I didn't even think that it'd be possible for you two to get married to one another this quickly. I am bursting with joy now. And to see you so happy with such a useless man warms my heart right up. Wait a second. Stop calling Frank a useless man. And what are you talking about? His company is not close to collapsing, right? He told me that his company is doing amazing right now and is expected to bring in loads this year. Well, that's what was expected before. But today, that contract that he was expecting to renew has been ended. And since he now has no customers willing to work with his company this quarter, he'll be right back on the path to bankruptcy. And unlike all the other times, I won't be there to help him and his company out of it. I don't see him having any other way of getting that company back on its feet now, so he's on a one-way trip to losing everything. Huh? And because of all that, don't expect to be able to afford that penthouse. After all, those landlords and realtors are very, very strict about who is allowed to rent them or not. And I think them seeing that Frank is on the road to losing his company and his money, they won't allow you guys to live there. What the hell are you going on about? Why the hell would Frank's company be on the brink of going bankrupt now? There's no way. What contract is he going to lose, and why would that make him lose his chance at renting the penthouse for us? I bet you're just upset with me now because I'm way more happy than you are and are trying to sabotage my emotions. Well then, why not give Frank a text or call about it? But I'm sure he's running around right now like a chicken with his head cut off, so you might be better off just texting him. Heck, I'd say your best chance now is to just head over to his company and see the condition it's in yourself.
What the hell is going on here, Miriam? Recently, that contract I've been planning on renewing has fallen out, and the customer is planning on looking to other companies now. If I'm not able to find anyone else to start working with me, I really will be on a one-way trip to going bankrupt. If you have any idea as to why this could be happening to me, please tell me.
What? Why are you contacting me about all of that? All I am to you now is your ex-wife, right?
I've already heard about everything from Brandy. She told me that you happen to know about that contract being ended, and seems to think you know the reason why. Why would my ex-wife know anything about my company and its contracts? Wait, could this mean that after the divorce, you've been holding something against me? And this is all you're doing?
I haven't done anything, Frank. All I ended up doing was telling my parents and family about how you left me for my friend. But funny enough, that company that you had the contract with was actually run by my family.
What?
And let me just say that I never asked any of my family to end that contract with your company. But when telling them all about how we got a divorce and the reason behind it, they all seemed to become pretty upset. And that might be why they chose to stop working with you and your company.
I don't think any of that is a maybe anymore. I'm 100% sure that that's what's happening here. There's no other reason for this to be happening now. This is all unbelievable, though. How could the company that I've been working with for a little while now be run by your family? I've never heard anything about that from you or anyone.
You have a great point. But the reason you never heard anything about that is because you were too busy cheating on me with Brandy at the time the contract was made.
What?
You don't even want to know the amount of times I went to my parents asking them to please make a contract with your company. But I really wanted to help my then husband get the company back on its feet before taking on the role as CEO. And that's why I went through all that hard work. But you never noticed me putting in all that work because you were too busy going out with a good friend of mine.
Huh? You went and did all that for me?
I thought it'd be right as your wife to try and help you with your job. But at the time, I had no idea about all of that business-related stuff. So that's why I did what I could with what I had to make sure that your company could make a comeback. Going to my own family begging for them to make a contract with your company. And after so much work, they finally decided to give your company a really decent contract. But that whole time, you had no idea of it and thought it all had to do with Brandy. Well, it must hurt your pride now, knowing that your company having a chance to get back on its feet was all due to my family and I.
So you're saying that the really generous contract the company had gotten was all due to you? This had nothing to do with Brandy?
That's absolutely right. It was all just a coincidence. While you were out being unfaithful, I was working my butt off to save your skin. And when my work was all said and done, you were given that contract and thanked Brandy for it, saying that she was like some kind of miracle for you. Even saying to me that she was your destined wife and would help you both make bank.
But that's...
When I had to listen to you go on and on about all of that, it really gave me a frickin' headache. You didn't care for any of the work I put in and continued on about how she was your good luck charm. After all that, the love that I'd worked so hard to make with you fell apart and withered away.
You're lying, right? How could this all have happened due to you, and not due to the fact that I'm finally with my destined wife? So, what am I going to do now knowing that Brandy isn't really what's been giving me so much good luck? I finally thought that the company was golden, and now it's going right back down the drain. And now, I'm not even going to have the help of your family with me.
How about you go ask your good luck charm of a wife for help? If she really is the woman you're destined to be with, then you'll make it out of all this just fine. You really have everything, so there will be some way your company makes it out of all this.
But what if this time a miracle doesn't happen?
Well, then that just means your wife isn't all you thought she was. Now, your ex-wife has to get going. You're supposed to be having the best time of your life right now, so please go back to being happy for everyone. What am I going to do, Miriam? Frank's company really is coming to an end like you said. He told me that now the company faces bankruptcy. He's not going to have any more money. Oh my. It's only been 1 week and things aren't going as the two of you had planned? What happened to him being the perfect man for you and having all that money? Right now, there's nothing about him that's perfect. He's not even going to be able to get that penthouse for us now. And as for all that luxury furniture and electronics that I bought, we have to go and return it all. All because he couldn't take care of his company. Why, when I was just about to become the happiest woman in the world, did this have to happen to me? Sucks to suck, Brandy. You actually thought that stealing one of your best friend's husbands would end up going well for you? Stop trying to talk to me like that right now. What I want to know is why you never told your best friend about how her man's company was on the brink of going bankrupt. If only I'd known that his company was in bad condition before marrying him, then I could have had the chance to leave him before we tied the knot. You are a freaking jerk for hiding a truth like that from your friend. Why would you do something so hurtful to me of all people? You know the reason for that, right? You were the one that started all of this by stealing Frank from me. Huh? If I had told you about all of this, you would have never fallen for the trap of marrying him, right? But I didn't want to ruin your guys' love that quickly. I wanted you both to really get inches away from your happiness before I told you all the truth. And would you look at that? I timed it all out perfectly, and now both the crappy friend of mine and my useless ex can suffer for what they've done. So there you go. My reason for hiding the truth from you. So that's why you were totally fine with the two of us getting married and even encouraged it. I should have known something was up by how fast you recovered from that blow. I was being honest, though, about you both getting married. You really are meant for each other based off how horrible of people you are. A brainless husband and his brainless wife makes for a perfect match. This is so messed up. wanting both your ex and best friend to end up in shambles? And now you're calling us both stupid? I bet that you've been laughing about all of this behind our backs. You apologize to me right now for doing something like this to me. Wait, why should I do that? Weren't you the one that started all of this by going out with my husband behind my back? And you told me that you put on a face when talking to me because you were really laughing about how sad I was, right? Well, that was... So what you should be saying is that we both got to get in a good laugh from all this. And none of this is okay, though. Especially since you ended up getting a ton of money from Frank in the divorce while I'm going to end up with nothing. And I have to thank you for being there to save his company when you did. Because of that, he was able to make just enough money to pay me the amount I asked for before I left. Well, I want to divorce him and get his money as well now. Yet right now he has no money to his name. It's not fair that you're the only one making out of this with money. Stop being so selfish, Brandy. You at least got to marry the perfect man that you'd been searching so long for, right? If you're really wanting money as well now, go ahead and help him save his company then. Go around and find a company that you'll be willing to get on your hands and knees for to beg for them to make a contract with him. You wanted to become the wife of a CEO, so you have to start putting in the work to help keep him there. After that, Brandy tried to get Frank to divorce her, but he turned around and told her that she could not run away and that she needed to help him save his company. And so she ended up having to stick by his side, helping him find ways to get his company from going bankrupt and help themselves from losing everything. But of course, they weren't going to be able to do much about how bad of a situation the company was already in. And as I'd mentioned before, it was on a one-way trip out of here. As of right now, those two had to move into a really cheap apartment together and are living every day of their lives using large amounts of borrowed money. As for me, due to the money I received from Frank in the divorce and the settlement thereafter, I've been doing pretty well on my own. For the time being, I think I'm going to take things slow and work towards making myself an even better person, before going back out into the romance world looking for a new partner.
Thank you for watching all the way until the end. If you felt good after watching this video, please like the video. If not, please leave a comment and give us your feedback. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Your comments and likes help this channel grow.
Hurry up and get that divorce. Sasha is no longer into you anymore, okay? So please give up that seat at his side already and let me sit there. Huh? I had thought cheating with him all this time would have gotten you to leave him by now. But you are not letting go of him even after seeing his faithlessness towards you. I get that you want to continue being the wife of a CEO, but that seat is meant for me now. So is this really who my husband has been cheating on me with? Abigail? So you've been the one sending him home after he gets out of work covered in kisses made with red lipstick. And you've been putting all those pictures of you two together in my mailbox each week. I know about you and him being a thing very well now. Well then, why have you not divorced him for me yet? You've seen all those pictures of him loving up on me, right? Sasha's into me now, and he won't be letting me go. I want to hurry this up and get married to him, and I want him to start calling me his wife. Is that so? But even after telling me things like that, it's not going to make me just hand him over to you. It's not as simple as you think for a married couple to just call it quits like that. Huh? All you have to do is sign the dang divorce papers and then hand them in. That is so easy that a baby can do it. When it comes to there being a divorce over one of the two being unfaithful, there are a lot of steps added to the process. We have to talk about how to split the properties and about the settlement that'll come after. You are such a parasite. So you've just been worried about his money all this time? This is why he doesn't want you to be his wife anymore. Excuse me? Sasha is always going on about it. He gets so upset about how much of a leech you are, and talks about how whenever he brought up wanting to separate, you'd freak out and do everything to keep him around you. But I'm telling you, all that work you put in trying to keep him with you was actually pushing him away even faster. What do you mean I'm a parasite? You're telling me that he's been talking about me that way this whole time? He's always calling you a parasite. He says you are like a leech, a tick, even a tapeworm at times. I mean, he's not wrong though, right? In order to never allow him to get rid of you, you hang on tight to his fur coat, right? You never seem to want to listen to him, and he's had enough of it. Unlike with you, he actually wants me to be around him, but he can't do that yet when you are still clinging onto his back. Huh? I'm sorry, Jenny. I know that you've given all your effort to stay attached, but it's not going to work when he has a cute and young girl ready to take you out. He told me that he's going to get rid of you once and for all and then let me climb on him instead. So now that you're aware of that, just give up on him and go find another person to latch on to. And by the way, Sasha's coming over to my place tonight to stay until you're gone. Hey, Sasha, we need to talk. I've heard that you've been calling me a parasite now, correct?
Huh? What are you talking about now? I have a lot going on right now as the CEO of a company. Right now I'm in the middle of a very important meeting, right?
What important meeting? I know that you're on a date with the girl you've been cheating on me with is all.
What?
I have been getting a lot of crap from that other woman of yours for a while now. But I guess that's only natural from someone who thinks it's all right to take a married man away from his wife. I'm sure you thought you'd be able to hide all these secret dates from me by saying you have to work and all that crap, but I've been aware of you for a while now. Honestly, I wasn't that upset then, but today I learned that you've been calling me the parasite in this relationship. I am not going to let any of that slide now.
Hey, wait. How long have you known about Abigail and I?
I think it's been a bit over a year now. And I was just texting with her a couple minutes ago. She had something very important to tell me. And that was that she wanted me to hurry up and get divorced from you. She really wants to marry you soon, so she's wanting me to rush now.
What?
Now let me talk with you about all of this. Do you really plan on divorcing me and then getting remarried to that woman you've been cheating with? We have been married for 7 years now and have been a couple for 10. You plan to crumple those 10 years with me up and throw them away?
What do you want me to say? I don't have any use for an old used-up hag like you anymore. Us men like to be around young and good-looking women all our lives, and I'm no exception to that.
Excuse me?
Also, you are the perfect example of a parasite. There's no merit to me being married to you any longer, and that's why I'm choosing to be with Abigail now.
What about me as a parasite to you, Sasha? I have been giving it my all to support you and your business by being at your side all this time as your wife.
Who cares about that? You're nothing like a wife to me, but rather a nasty little tick. I happen to have a company and loads of money at my disposal. And that's the only reason you've wanted to be so close to me, is so that you can get all that money.
What?
I've been watching you work so hard for me, all in order to keep me from throwing you away. It's hilarious what lengths you've gone to as well. Not only will you help me with my business at times, but you do all the chores for me. When I get home, you give me those 2-hour massages I ask for, like you're afraid of losing me. You'll even go out in the middle of night to get food that I want from the store. I know that you've just been doing all that in order to stay on my skin, which means you're nothing more than a parasite to me.
You stop all that right now! You thought I was doing all of that stuff in order to keep me around you?
You sure were, weren't you? You know dang well that if I get rid of you, then you're doomed.
The reason I was doing all of that was in order to make you happy and keep our marriage life going. The reason I was giving you those messages and going out in the middle of the night to shop for you was all out of love. And the reason I did it all with a smile on my face is because if I looked upset about it, you'd flip. And then you'd go back to what you'd always told me in the past, and that is that if I didn't listen to the man of the house, you'd throw a fit, which you've done plenty of times now, like some spoiled child.
I have every right to throw a fit about it, though. I'm not going to just sit around and let a parasite get the better of me like that.
This is BS. I can see now that you have no room for discussion anymore. The only two responses I can get from you now is either calling me a parasite or getting upset with me over nothing. But I shouldn't be surprised by that since you already have another woman now.
Well, don't worry about me listening to you anymore, because this is over with. I don't need to have a parasite attached to me anymore, and Abigail has helped me realize that. And so, because of that, hurry up, get out of my face. And with this divorce, you've got to give me back all those shares you've got in my company.
What?
I gave you a whole lot of shares in my company in the past, right? You kept asking me over and over again to give them to you, so I did out of wanting to keep my own sanity. You're probably whining to me, so let you have some because you're a parasite, right? You wanted to make sure you had something to do with my company financially, in order to keep me from kicking you to the curb. Well, it doesn't work that way, Jenny. They have nothing to do with you being my wife.
You're joking, right? Do you have any idea why I have shares in your company right now?
In order to keep me from getting rid of you, right? What a freaking brainless woman. Thinking that some shares in my company would make me more open to having you as a wife long term.
I'm done with this. Sasha, you and I are through. I'll sign those divorce papers for you right now, and I'll hand you back those shares and whatever else you want.
Finishing this up now will help me out a bunch. Abigail's become a real pain in my neck recently, going on about how she wants to get married. I just never thought she'd actually start texting you about all of it, but I guess that just shows, well, how much she loves me.
That's right, she really wants to become the wife of a CEO. But in return for me allowing this divorce, I'd like you to be ready to pay me the settlement I'll be asking for from you.
Sure. I'll pay you whatever you ask for. I'm a CEO, after all, so it won't even bother me to fork over that kind of cash. Unlike you parasites, I actually happen to be very well off.
Hearing that from you, I'm a little relieved. Well, I'm going to get in touch with my lawyer and talk this over, and I'll send you the details later. And once you've gone ahead and sent me that money that I've asked for, I'll hand in the divorce papers.
Sounds perfect. You know that I'll be agreeing to the amount you ask for, so go ahead and get ready to hand in those papers.
Thank you so much for getting that divorce, Jenny. Because of that today, Sasha and I were able to hand in our marriage forms. Congratulations on your marriage. But be careful about having an even younger and more cute woman than yourself coming up from behind and stealing him from you. I'm sorry, but you're not going to scare me by saying things like that. Sasha is so into me. There's no way on this big green earth that he would ever take his eyes off me for another woman. That's quite the confidence you have there. Now let's get to business. You've already divorced Sasha now, so hurry it up and get out of that house. We were just able to hand in our marriage forms, but not being able to live together in that house yet is a bit annoying. What? That house that you're still sitting in right now is going to be our house starting today, yet you're still sitting in there and not bothering to get out. I am the wife of a CEO now, so tell me why I should still have to live in my tiny little apartment to make room for you to be in that house with him. Get a move on and get out of my mansion. From what it sounds like, you haven't been told everything by Sasha just yet, have you? Huh? What else was he supposed to tell me? Stop it with all this stupid talk and get the hell out of my house. He's already thrown you away and chosen the younger and cuter me to have as his wife, so a loser like you needs to get out of my mansion right now. Is it really that hard for a parasite like you to find a new host? I've already gone and sold that house. Huh? So when it comes to me moving out, I'm already at my new place. You've no right to sit there and tell me to leave when that mansion is no longer in my possession. Since you don't even seem to have a clue what's going on, try talking to Sasha about it before coming to me again. Wait a second, please. The mansion's been sold? You sold my mansion? The mansion where I was supposed to be loved by Sasha in? If I remember correctly, that mansion was never yours or Sasha's to begin with. I was given that house in the settlement that came with the divorce, so it was mine before selling it. I have every right to sell whatever's mine, and I don't have to tell you a thing about it. Huh? What the hell do you mean you got that place with the settlement? I was never told any of this by Sasha. and that's why I want you to go and talk to him right now. I don't care to explain it to you, so ask him. But Sasha's a CEO, and he is way too busy every day to explain things to me, unlike you, who has all the time in the world as a lowly parasite. Now, you tell me, what the hell is going on? Really? Sasha's been telling me about this the whole time. He said that the moment he gets rid of you, he and I are going to move into a nice mansion. He got me all excited about the new life we'd have together after getting married, but now you're going to tell me he gave that mansion to you in a settlement? No, there is no way. But there was a way. I get it. You're just trying to bully me now, huh? You think so? Settlements normally only include money in them, right? You getting the house in the settlement and then selling it without my approval? That's all been done by you as a way of harassing me and my husband. You are the most scummy and toxic woman on this planet. Would you stop going on about whatever stupid misunderstanding you have? I never wanted a mansion or anything in the settlement, to be honest. But he didn't have enough money otherwise, so I had to make do getting the place from him. So he gave me whatever money he did have and then gave me the house as well to sell. Huh? You're telling me that he didn't have enough money to pay you and had to give up his house as well? What the hell are you going on about? He's a CEO. He has all the money in the world in his pockets. He's always going on about how he has all this money saved up and it's so much we could buy an island with it. Saying things is pretty easy to do. But it's actually proving said things that can be quite difficult. And in this case, he has nothing in his savings. The company that he's running has been in the red for a long time now, and he's got a lot of debt. And because of that, the only things he could give me was his pocket change and the house. Huh? Hold on. He has $0 in his savings, and his company is in debt? What the hell do you mean? He's made himself look like a competent CEO in front of you, right? In the past, I suppose he was one, but things have changed since then. A lot has happened. After his company took off, the money got to his head and he started messing around too much. And when that was happening, he would force all his employees to do the most insane things for his company. And after all of them started to leave his company, he was left on his own to try and fix the now dying business he once had. What? A lot of his employees tried to talk with him on a serious level about what had been going on. But he would never listen to them, instead talking back in a more aggressive tone, giving them no choice but to quit. So because of all that, he is now barely running a company that's completely in the red. But he is still a CEO, so you understand that all kinds of companies have debt at some point, right? He should know how to handle all that, right? It would be crazy for him not to know what to do. Right when his company was on the verge of going bankrupt, I saved it. I have actually been a holder of quite a large number of shares in his company, so I happen to have some weight in his company. Are you serious? When I started to realize that he had turned into a psycho when it came to managing his company, I stepped in and bought a ton more shares in his company to keep it above water. And ever since the first time I bought those shares, I've been doing my best to keep things going there. But of course, since he has no idea what's going on with his own company and is just fooling around all the time, he doesn't really know that I've been behind the scenes running the operation. When I did bring up the fact that I have a large portion of the shares in his company, he just started to call me a parasite and said he gave those all to me. What? I had really tried so hard to help his company continue on, but recently some very crazy things happened, and due to that, well, his company is right back on the slippery slope to hell. And all due to the fact that the woman he was cheating on me with thought it would be funny to brag about how she's been with my husband, that I'm a parasite to him. Since that first time you texted me about all that, I've become really tired and don't bother with Sasha's company anymore. No! Honestly, it's so funny to watch how deep in the red his company is falling. Everyone he still had working with him now is left. I felt bad that they were all leaving without any kind of money for it, so I've been giving them a check from the money I gained after selling the mansion. A lot of these people have worked for Sasha for a long time and deserve a package. So I'll use the money from their CEO to do just that. That's why he has nothing left then? It's all either gone to me to pay for the settlement or it's gone to the banks? Did you know, though, that in the divorce, he also asked me to give back the shares I had? It was so hilarious watching him learn about what was really happening at his company. I was pissing myself as his smile faded to a blank stare at the wall. Jenny, do you have any idea how much debt his company is still in right now? If it's just a small amount, then he'll be able to fix things, no problem, right? I'm sure that if he put a little more effort into it, he could become a competent CEO again, right? As of right now, he owes $6 million. He never paid any attention to the debt he was getting into and continued to borrow more and more money. $6 million? No way. How the hell could he get that deep into debt? Congratulations on becoming the wife of a CEO. It's rare to see someone marry a CEO who's about to lose their company and be stuck with $6 million worth of debt. You must really love Sasha for the man he is then. Huh? What the hell do you mean? Do you think it's funny congratulating me for this? I am not messing around anymore. This is not at all the life I was expecting after marrying him. Well, I'm going to go now, all right? You can both do something about this yourselves, okay?
Hey, Jenny, why the hell did you tell her about the truth?
Wow, it's been a bit since I last heard you calling my name. Normally you just talk to me without ever saying my actual name to me.
Right now, none of that matters. I want to know why you told Abigail about everything. Because of you, something major is happening that's going to really screw things up for me.
Huh? Why are you blaming me for your BS now? I wasn't the one texting me about how I needed to hurry up and get out of the mansion. So I had to teach her everything that was actually going on since someone else forgot to. It's your fault for not telling her the truth about yourself sooner, right?
I have no reason to be telling her things like that, though. She was looking forward to moving into a mansion this whole time. She'd go out every day and buy furniture that she thought would look good in the place. We talked for days and days about how we'd have the mansion set up and decorated. Yet during all her excitement, you went and told her you took the house and sold it.
I also made sure to tell her about your failing business. I'm sure she'd want to run away from a CEO who's in debt by millions and soon won't even have a company anymore.
Seriously? Why would you do this to me? She's running around right now, getting all her things together to leave me, and she's getting ready to go out that door. It's only a matter of time. If this really does spell the end for us being a couple, it'll be all your fault.
I don't give a crap, you jackass. This is what you get for fooling around with other women when you were supposed to focus on your company. And let's be honest, you only have one chance to get her to like you again, and that's by fixing your company's situation and making all that money back.
But all of that's your fault. You were the one that allowed my employees to leave the company without ever telling me. I went back into the office for the first time this year. There are only 2 people in there working.
And if you were to put a bit of effort into it and get that company back on its feet, then more people would want to work for you again. This is your time to show that you are a competent CEO. You're going to have to start stepping up your game if you want to impress those cute young women around you. Hey, Jenny, you are the worst. You give me the money from the mansion you sold right now. Jesus frickin' Christ. The only reason I married Sasha is because I thought he'd be this super rich, good-looking CEO that I could ride on. But to learn that he's in terrible debt, he scammed me. He said there'd be a mansion for me and everything, but all of it's nowhere to be found. So I'm going to divorce him now and get the money I deserve from him. I was lied to and made the victim here, so I have the right to his money. That's true. He sure did lie to you about how he had all this money in his savings and everything. I can't say you're wrong for saying that he scammed you. I totally understand why you want to get a settlement from him. I'm sure you do. I have the right to get money because of all this. But you shouldn't be asking for that money from me. I think you're very wrong asking me for my money. Huh? How the hell am I supposed to get money from someone who doesn't have any? He doesn't have a house, a car, or any money now. So I would like you to give me some of that money you received for selling the mansion. So after stealing my husband, you want to take my money You really are a bold little frick, aren't you? Shut up and just give me the money. You all are the worst people ever. I never thought that Sasha was that kind of horrible man. I even ended up ending the lease on my apartment thinking that I'd be moving into a huge house with him. Oh, you ended your lease? Well, then the both of you are more similar than I thought. You both now live homeless with no money to spare. I am not going to listen to you talking to me like that. Well, then turn off your phone. I'm telling you right now that I am nothing like him because I still have money. I did end up quitting my job, though, thinking I'd have myself a sugar daddy. But before I quit, I was working all the time and saving up. Wow, so you are a bit more serious about yourself than I thought. I happen to have $30,000 right now. It's amazing for someone in their early 20s to have that kind of money in savings, right? That is pretty amazing. But all that money is going to be coming to me now, right? So in the end, you and Sasha are very much alike. You both won't have a house or any money. What? I have to pay you? I still haven't gotten any money from you yet in that settlement. It was all your fault that my life with my husband ended up falling apart, right? So you're going to have to be responsible for what you've done. What? I'm sorry for making you get on your high horse there, bragging about your money. I really didn't know you had that kind of money on you. But it sure does make me feel happy knowing you do indeed have the money for me. I might not be getting the full amount I was going to ask for from you, but $30,000 will do. You're lying. Wait a sec. You already got money from both the house you sold and his pocket change, right? Yet you still want more money? That money was from Sasha, and I still would like my share from you. You both have to be responsible for your screw-ups. No way, that's not okay. I already got rid of my apartment, and I don't have a job anymore. And now you're going to steal all of my savings? I'm not stealing anything from you. I just happen to have the right to your money is all. Now, I would like you to start getting that money in order for when my lawyer contacts you. I was nice in letting you have my husband, right? So as a thank you for that, I'd like you to send me a present. Right after that, I went and spoke to my lawyer, letting him know that Abigail did indeed have the money for me and that I'd like $30,000 from her. I got a call soon after from her, screaming and crying in my ear, so I handed the phone over to my lawyer and let him have a word with her. And after a few hours, in one large transfer, I got all the money I had asked for. According to some rumors I've heard, Sasha was not going to let Abigail get away in a divorce, and made sure to drag him into his horrible situation of having to try and save his dead company. But in the end, those last two employees of his quit, and the company was just left to those two. However, even with all the effort they put into trying to keep things going, they only sank deeper and deeper into the red. As of right now, I've heard that those two are still trying to fix things, but in order to do so, they have both had to stay in that office 24 hours a day, and are pretty much making it their home. When it comes to myself, I've taken all the money from both settlements and the house I sold and started a business of my own. I learned through Sasha's company that I was actually quite good at managing a business and thought this would be the perfect next step for me. I've already started hiring some of the people that used to work for Sasha, and I feel if things go well for me this year, I can start to live life as a CEO myself.
Thank you for watching all the way until the end. If you felt good after watching this video, please like the video. If not, please leave a comment and give us your feedback. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Your comments and likes help this channel grow. We hope you enjoy our other stories as well.